Some people believe that they have to be stoned to death.
What you got for us inside?
Some people believe that they have to be hanged. Some people believe that they have to be thrown out from a big cliff or mountain. And some believe that they have to be cut in half by sword.
The immense oppression and danger that LGBTQ people are facing all around the world, and the systems and organizations that are both oppressing them and also helping them. The biggest takeaway from this one, of course, is learning about the International Railroad for Queer Refugees, which specifically helps LGBTQ people from these countries be able to get to safety, to get to places like Toronto or the United States, where they can prosper and thrive and live as their authentic selves. And that's fantastic. But another thing that it really emphasizes on in just this, a little over 10-minute time is the emphasis on us as individuals, that we need to ensure to do our part to help these people, because it's not going to be done all by itself. And we have to take some sense of accountability and have some form of compassion, because if not, these crimes against humanity, which is what they are, when you look at, in 13% of countries around the world, this is punishable by death. This is something we have to act on. So it really inspires you to get up and get active, which is, of course, one of the best things a documentary on important subject matter like this, that's so relevant to today, can do.
It's really powerful. It's presented very well, and the stories are obviously super important. It's beyond tragic that so many lives were lost, just maliciously taken away, just for being who these people are and who they were. It's obviously it's really sad, and it's a good thing that they're able to come forward, even behind the shroud of darkness, and at least hear their voice and hear their story. And I think that's just really important. So for that reason alone, I'm glad this one exists in the world.
This one I thought was really good, and I thought it started off really, really strong, setting up how kind of free and kind of just out there our society is with this community, and to show the stark difference between the Iranian culture and how they handle people who are homosexual. And I think they started off really, really strong.
There were no bells or whistles used for this one, just clear, open, honest communication. Difficult subject matter, however, filtered into the film with ease. I'm not saying I feel comfortable that homosexuality is still punishable by death in some countries. Of course not. But I am saying that I love how the information was shared with me as the viewer overall. Coming out in Canada is something that's very scary to do. There's fears associated with that, but it's not this level of scary. So for that, I'm grateful. So further to that, this film then is a firm reminder that our work is not done, and fears of the past are not necessarily fears of the past for all.
The opening of this was so powerful with what was being spoken, with the imagery of different things that are celebrating the kind of queer community and queer culture, and then with what was actually being said was such like a stark contrast that it really was such a powerful opening and really set up the rest of the documentary. And within the rest of it, it really does a good job of kind of introducing this nonprofit, but then what really like binded it for me was that it didn't just tell you about this nonprofit and what it does and its mission statement, which is like all well and great, and I'm totally for having a mission statement and things like that, but then it took it a step further and actually showed you the impact that the like nonprofit had and impact it could have. And I thought that was such a more powerful way of kind of showcasing the nonprofit
admirable seeing these people tell their stories, even though they knew how much they were endangering themselves. But it's also heartbreaking to hear their stories and to know that, to see their PTSD and their fear, even if they're outside of their country and even if they are hidden. And the horrible treatment, it was just so sad to hear and so hard to hear. But it's an amazing story, and it needs to be told so that more people can be aware of what's happening in this country, and hopefully we can put a stop to it.
This was definitely an eye-opening film to watch. I'm very glad that it exists, that it's there educating people who may not know about the situation in Iran. I was one of them. The fact that being gay or queer is punishable by death in 13 countries is so insane to me, and that it's illegal in so many more. I really respect and appreciate the individuals who felt brave enough to come forward and share their story, anonymous or not. But they, even coming there with their backs to the camera, with just their silhouettes, with their voices distorted, they're still putting their lives at risk. And what a terrifying reality that is. I'm so glad that program exists and hopefully is being funded and doing well, because they're doing such amazing work. And the thing that is just so hard to comprehend is that this is happening today in the year 2020. And thank you for all the individuals who shared their story. It is not in vain.
I thought this was a really emotionally powerful piece and very important. Just really highlighted the dire need and the truly life or death stakes in finding freedom for those of the LGBTQ communities in countries where they are persecuted. And it just showed how this organization can really create a whole new lease on life. There are still struggles. There is still a lot to deal with, especially in leaving your family and everything you knew behind. And all of this was demonstrated so beautifully and illuminated through a nice variation of testimonials that were brave and beautiful and full of nuance. I think the part that really hit home for me was when one of these individuals said that, yes, it's beautiful that we're in Canada and we have this freedom, but ultimately we shouldn't have to leave our homes and everything we know just to find that. And I think that's what we should be striving for, but at least there is organizations like this who are trying to bridge that gap and create some hope.